Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I am an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. In the polished halls of Logan, an exciting new chapter begins to unfold as Hope Logan Spencer and Deke Sharp step forward with confidence, preparing to unveil their creative vision to the world. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation as they dive into an intimate in-house fashion preview, carefully showcasing designs that represent not just fabric and style, but the promise of a shared future built on ambition and artistic synergy. Every detail of the event carries a sense of fresh beginnings, as if the Logan space itself is quietly holding its breath for what comes next. Hope and Deke move through the moment with a mix of excitement and pressure, fully aware that this preview could define the direction of their new partnership. Yet beneath the polished presentation, there is an undercurrent of uncertainty, hinting that not everything in this creative journey is as smooth as it appears. Meanwhile, across town, emotional currents quietly ripple through the life of Melissa Dillon as she finds herself drawn closer to R.J. Forrester. R.J. invites her to Bikini Bar for a breakfast meant to lift her spirits, though in a moment of honesty, he admits it is just as much about lifting his own as well. Their shared conversation reveals a subtle emotional weight they are both carrying, as they each struggle with the surprising reunion between Electra Forrester and Will Spencer. Though neither of them is tied down, the situation leaves them quietly reflective, and in that vulnerability, a new connection between Dillon and R.J. begins to deepen in ways neither fully expected. The breakfast feels less like a casual meal and more like a moment suspended in time, where unspoken emotions linger between every exchange. As the morning unfolds, Dillon's thoughts grow heavier as she begins to confront what this growing closeness with R.J. might mean for her future. After finishing their meal, she voices a concern that has been building quietly inside her. The fear that getting emotionally involved could jeopardize her position at Logan, a role she desperately needs to hold on to. She worries that mixing business with personal feelings could complicate everything she has worked for, placing her stability at risk. RJ, sensing her hesitation and anxiety, reassures her with calm confidence, promising that he would never allow their connection to interfere with her place at the company. He makes it clear that her position is secure, no matter how their relationship evolves, offering her a rare sense of comfort in an otherwise uncertain moment. For Dillon, those words land like an anchor in turbulent water, though the emotional stakes between them continue to quietly rise beneath the surface. At the same time, Will Spencer is left reeling in the wake of a revelation delivered by Katie Logan Spencer, a conversation that leaves him caught between loyalty and discomfort. Katie informs him about Hope's new involvement with Logan and urges him to keep the news under wraps, even from Electra, creating a situation layered with secrecy and emotional tension. Will is immediately uneasy about the idea of hiding something so significant, especially from someone he cares about, yet he cannot ignore the weight of Katie's reasoning. The shock of the development still lingers in his mind, making it difficult for him to fully process where honesty ends and protection begins. Though reluctant, he begins to understand why such a curveball might require caution, even if it forces him into a position he is not comfortable with. Back at the center of it all, Hope and Deke move forward with their ambitious presentation, hosting their small in-house fashion preview that symbolizes both hope and risk. Their designs take shape under careful display, each piece reflecting their determination to establish themselves as a strong, creative team within Logan. The energy in the room is hopeful but fragile, as if success is only one step away from slipping into complication. Despite their optimism, subtle cracks begin to form beneath the surface, foreshadowing challenges that are soon to come. In the episodes ahead, Hope is set to face a frustrating setback that threatens to disrupt her momentum and cast uncertainty over the future of her new fashion line. As anticipation builds toward her debut, it becomes clear that this journey will not unfold without obstacles, and the path forward is far more turbulent than anyone anticipated. As the day continues to unfold, the tension quietly lingers beneath the surface of every storyline, as if each character is moving through a moment that feels calm on the outside but unsettled within. At Logan, Hope, Logan Spencer, and Deke Sharp try to hold on to the momentum of their in-house fashion preview, even as the weight of expectation begins to settle in. What was meant to feel like a confident step forward instead carries a faint edge of unease, as small imperfections and subtle hesitations begin to hint that not everything is aligning as smoothly as planned. Hope pushes forward with determination, refusing to let doubt take control, yet there is a flicker of frustration building just beneath her composed exterior. Deke, standing beside her as both creative partner and emotional support, can sense that the energy around their project is beginning to shift in a way neither of them can fully control. It is a moment where ambition and vulnerability collide, leaving their shared dream both powerful and fragile at the same time. Elsewhere, the emotional thread between Melissa Dillon and R.J. Forrester continues to deepen, even as uncertainty quietly follows them. Their earlier breakfast at Bikini Bar still lingers in Dillon's thoughts, especially R.J.'s reassurance that her position at Logan is safe no matter what develops between them. Yet reassurance, as comforting as it may be, does not fully dissolve the fear she carries about mixing her professional future with personal emotion. Every interaction now feels slightly more weighted, as if each glance or conversation could shift the balance of something important she cannot afford to lose. RJ, on the other hand, remains steady in his approach, trying to keep things grounded while also acknowledging the growing emotional pull between them. What started as simple companionship is slowly evolving into something neither of them can neatly define, and that uncertainty adds both warmth and tension to their connection. At the same time, Will Spencer finds himself increasingly trapped between loyalty and discomfort as Katie Logan Spencer's request continues to echo in his mind. The idea of hiding Hope's return to Logan, especially from Electra Forrester, presses heavily on his conscience, creating a quiet, internal struggle that follows him through every decision. Though he understands the shock and complexity behind the situation, the weight of secrecy feels unnatural to him, as if he is being asked to stand in a space where honesty should belong. Katie's urgency makes the situation feel even more pressing, forcing Will to confront the uncomfortable reality that sometimes truth becomes complicated when emotions are involved. As he reflects on everything, his connection to Electra adds another layer of conflict, making the choice between transparency and protection feel even more fragile. Back at the center of the unfolding drama, Hope and Deke's fashion preview comes to a close with a lingering sense that something larger is beginning to shift beneath their success. The event itself may have showcased their creativity and ambition, but the emotional and professional stakes surrounding it are clearly rising. Hope, despite her drive, cannot fully shake the feeling that a setback is approaching, one that could disrupt everything she is trying to build. The energy around her Logan line feels like it is tightening, as though the next challenge is already forming just out of sight. And as the day fades, each character remains suspended in their own uncertainty. Hope and Deke facing an unpredictable creative future, Dylan and RJ navigating a delicate emotional balance, and Will standing at the crossroads of secrecy and truth. Everything feels connected by an invisible thread of tension, hinting that the next turn in their lives will arrive sooner and more forcefully than anyone expects. As the pressure surrounding the unfolding events at Logan continues to build, the atmosphere shifts from quiet uncertainty into something far more charged and emotionally fragile. Hope, Logan Spencer, and Deke Sharp attempt to move past the lingering tension of their in-house fashion preview, but the sense of instability refuses to fade. Even in the aftermath of their presentation, Hope can feel the weight of an approaching setback pressing closer, like a shadow stretching across everything she is trying to build. Each detail of their work suddenly feels more vulnerable, as though one small disruption could unravel the momentum they fought so hard to create. Deke remains supportive, but even he cannot ignore the subtle cracks forming beneath the surface of their shared ambition. What once felt like a clear path forward now feels unpredictable, as if the future of their fashion line is shifting beneath their feet without warning. Meanwhile, the emotional complexity surrounding Melissa Dillon and RJ Forrester grows even more delicate as they try to navigate what their connection is becoming. Their earlier moments together, filled with honesty and quiet vulnerability, now linger like an unspoken question neither of them is ready to fully answer. Dylan continues to wrestle with the fear that her growing closeness to RJ could jeopardize her place within Logan, a position she depends on more than she lets on. RJ's reassurance still echoes in her mind, but reassurance alone cannot erase the uncertainty of mixing personal feelings with professional stakes. For RJ, the situation is equally complicated as he finds himself drawn into something that feels both grounding and emotionally unpredictable. The space between them is no longer just friendship or comfort, it is something deeper taking shape, and neither of them can fully step away from it now. At the same time, Will Spencer's internal struggle intensifies as Katie Logan Spencer's request continues to weigh heavily on his conscience. The demand to keep Hope's return to Logan a secret, especially from Electra Forrester, places him in an increasingly uncomfortable position that tests his sense of integrity. Every time he considers the situation, he is pulled between understanding the emotional reasoning behind Katie's urgency and his own instinct to be honest with Electra. The secrecy feels heavier with each passing moment, as if it is building pressure that cannot remain contained forever. Will begins to realize that staying silent may protect someone in the short term, but it also risks creating a much larger emotional fallout if the truth eventually comes out in a more painful way. And as all of these emotional threads tighten, the broader sense of instability surrounding the Logan world becomes impossible to ignore. Hope's lingering frustration, Dylan and RJ's uncertain connection, and Will's moral conflict begin to feel like parts of the same unfolding storm, each influencing the other in subtle but meaningful ways. The once celebratory energy of Hope's fashion preview now feels like the calm before a disruption that has not yet fully revealed itself. Even small moments begin to carry added weight, as though every conversation could shift the direction of what comes next. And with uncertainty building across every corner of this intertwined world, it becomes clear that the next turning point will not only challenge ambitions and relationships, but force each character to confront choices they can no longer avoid.